and it's presented by our good friends at Envision. Well, Rosina, this is kind of the game we've been waiting for, the number 1 ranked Indy Thunder versus the number 2 ranked San Antonio Jets. As I said, we're joined by you and special guest John Margist here to provide some color, some perspective, some insight on the players. So this is going to be a really exciting broadcast.
It's definitely going to be interesting, Matt, to hear more of the history on these players. There's going to be a lot of contention here on these two teams. I know that this is just going to be a very hot day. Hopefully everybody's rested up from the heat from yesterday and not a cloud in the sky. Again, we're still out of luck there, but we are getting a nice breeze. Hopefully this is only the second game for the day, and these two undefeated teams, it's going to be something to watch them go.
And if you're too hot, I definitely wouldn't recommend the apparently spicy cheese curds. However, this is going to be the number 1 ranked Thunder and the number 2 ranked San Antonio Jets. I mean, that's really as simple as that. We saw the Jets yesterday. We did the game of the day here. If anyone got a chance to listen to that on the NBBA stream, they beat the Indy Edge 10-2. And Rosina, I don't think we've seen that level of defense in any game that I've watched in this World Series, this annual 2021 NBBA World Series. They were just on everything. Nick Mulhern was a stand-up player for the Edge, but really just a special team for the Jets. And for the Indiana Thunder, 4 consecutive championships dating back to 2016. There was no tournament last year, obviously, but since 2016, they have been the champions. So, you know, this is going to be the team. The two Titans are going at it, but the Indy Thunder missing a couple key guys. I've heard Tyler Rodriguez could not make it to the World Series. Zach, I'm not sure on a last name.
Zach Bueller.
Zach Bueller couldn't make it. And those are 2 significant players, John Margist, for the Thunder?
Zach Bueller actually made the USA Paralympic team, and that's why he's unable to be here today or this week, is because he's training for the Paralympics coming up here soon. So, and
he's one of the best players from what I've heard on the Thunder, and Tyler Rodriguez, a significant, usually in their 6 hole, usually a significant player. So it's still stacked top to bottom for the Thunder. They've still gotten here to this point. Both of these teams still have 0 losses. So both teams.
So yeah, absolutely, Matt. You know, with those people out on the Thunder, Jets have got to see this as an opportunity to come and knock these kings down off of their throne, so to speak, and try to take that title and go home with the championship. They're gunning for it, and you know, they're out there, they're hungry, and that defense, as you mentioned, they were spot on yesterday. It'll be interesting to see if we have a repeat performance of that defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the game that everyone expected in this slot, everyone expected to see here, and now it's here, and it's going to be exciting. Rematch of the 2019 World Series championship game.
Wow.
These are the 2 top teams in the sport right now, and it should be pretty entertaining.
So we do have right now practicing out on the field. We have the Indy Thunder. They're wearing their traditional navy blue jerseys with the white Indy Thunder logo, where the bottom of the T is kind of like a lightning bolt. We have the Jets wearing their black and green jerseys with the outline of the city of San Antonio, hence where San Antonio Jets comes from. And it has a jet over the top, and they actually have in print the name Jets below that in printed braille. So after a while, we'll get the coin toss, and we'll see who's going to be home and who will be away, and who's going to have that mild advantage of being able to have the last chance at bat.
Yeah, we saw that. The Indy Edge had that mild advantage. The Jets were able to take that away from them with a significant 5-run 4th inning. Kind of the key to that game yesterday we saw was a 3-1 game, and then the Jets out of the delay. There was a delay because of I believe it was a base issue, and they scored 5 runs to put it away and leave that kind of out there. But yes, in a game like this, Jets and Thunder, you definitely want to win that coin toss. You want to have that last at bat. I believe I heard the final score of their last game that they've played between these 2 teams was 27-25 or something of that ilk. So these 2 teams are very, very good offensively. Just pro beat baseball teams all around.
Two Hall of Fame pitchers. Both actually, Jared was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2019 in Tulsa, and Kevin was inducted some years ago. But two Hall of Fame pitchers out here today. So
definitely going to be interesting to see the emotions running high for the Jets pitcher Kevin Simpson, as we have mentioned several times that this is his last year pitching. He is retiring, still going to be involved in beat baseball, but he is taking a break from pitching.
For the Jets, you know, they're Rosina looking to get over that hump. I mean, they feel like they're right up there with the Indy Thunder, but they just haven't been able to get over that hump over the past few years against Indiana. They've just had their number. They've just been able to eke out wins against them over the past few years, just been able to beat them at the post for these championships. The Jets are the clear second best team, but they're looking to take that title finally from Indiana.
Now the Jets are actually 1-0 against the Thunder this year, albeit the Thunder a little short-handed in Bolingbrook, but the Jets did beat the Thunder in Bolingbrook, so let's see if they can carry some of that momentum here today.
As they're taking the field out here for their practice session, you can see some of the Jets have had a lot of team spirit going on as they have spray painted their hair green. There's several of the players out there. If they're not wearing a green hat, they have green hair. So let's give it up for the team spirit there for the Jets. Sure hoping that washes out within at least 3 washes.
One thing to update everyone on from earlier today, the New Jersey Titans and Austin Blackhawks have played, and that was for the right to remain in contention for the championship. The Blackhawks won that game. They beat the Titans 10-8. So currently, and we'll update you when updates become available, the the Edge and the Blackhawks are playing right now on the next field. So the winner of that game will play the loser of this game. We'll get more into that.
Yep.
So, John, as a little history on some of these players, some of the ones that have been longest standing, do you have any solid 2 favorite picks from each team, possibly?
Well, for the Thunder, it's pretty obvious. It's Eric Rodriguez. He's a stud on both sides of the ball. They also have the White brothers, Corey and Corian, who are very, very fast and should score a decent amount of runs in this game. On the other side, you have Zach Arambula, who is another top player in this league, made a defensive all-star team in Bolingbrook, and also has a really big bat. I'm not sure what the status is on Lupe Perez. I know he hurt himself yesterday.
Yes, he did hurt himself and was out there in the first inning as he was heading into first base. So we have not heard on that.
But him, as well as Axel Cox for the Thunder, or for the Jets, excuse me, are some key pieces to that team. But honestly and truly, these teams from 1 to 6 have guys that are capable of scoring every time they're up there.
We speculated about Lupe Perez in the last game that we thought it was dehydration but it seems to be more than that. He might actually not be available for this game. So yeah, he went out in that second inning, I do believe. It was the second at bat of the game. And that was a tough break for him and the Jets because he is their leadoff hitter. But Rosina, we saw that Zach Arambula struggled offensively against the Indy Edge, but was all over it on the field defensively, their best player. Obviously a little overshadowed defensively by Nick Mulhern in that game, but 5 putouts, a solid game by Zach Arambula, most on the Jets in that game.
So just as a random guess, I'd like to ask each of you guys, not who's going to win, but what do you think the point spread might be in this game?
Probably a pick or 1 run at most. This is a very, very evenly matched game here. I really don't know who's going to win at this point. I expect to see a high-scoring game, though, I can tell you that much.
Into the 20s?
But these fields are a little slower than some fields in the past, so their defense is also pretty stout. I'm going to predict maybe somewhere in the teens, maybe like a 19-17 score, 15-14, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I can go with something like that. I can go with I'm going to go with 13-9, a 13-10 game. I'm going to actually say the Jets win. I'm going to predict that the San Antonio Jets win this game. I think that there's a lot of emotions with Kevin Simpson, and there's a certain hunger in not having won since 2015, having not being that team that's won 4 straight championships, being that team that is looking for that first one. So I think the Jets might be able to handle them today. But the Thunder are 4-time champions. They will have something to say about that, most certainly. But I agree with John about the fields being a little slower, and we saw that with the Indy Edge, a prolific team like that only scoring 2 runs yesterday. Give the Jets a lot of credit defensively, but that also had something to do with the slow field, I believe.
Well, the Jets have made their way off the field, and we do have the captains coming up for a coin toss. We have Axel and Zach, I do believe, coming up, shaking hands. And we have Booker from the Thunder. And we also have, let's see, 37 is Kyle Lewis up there. Coin tosses up.
This may not be the first. This may not be the last time we see these guys play each other.
San Antonio is the home team. Jets are at home.
So we'll get to see the Indiana Thunder bat first. And that's a break for the Jets. They won the
Definitely.
coin toss.
You know the Thunder is going to be feeling hungry. They're going to want to hold and maintain that championship. And Jets are hungry to take it away.
If the Thunder can win this year, you get Zach Buehler back next year, you get Tyler Rodriguez back next year, you'd be feeling really good riding that 5 straight championships. Either way, these guys on the Thunder, from what I've heard, are incredibly young. So this is not a team going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, their mean average age is probably somewhere around 20 or 21. Ooh. So they're in good shape.
They're in very good shape. We got a dry field today. Cornfields all behind, in front of us across the way. Clear skies, no clouds. A little bit of a breeze going on right now. So hopefully no heat exhaustion will come into play today, and we can have everybody stay in the game and give it their all and have the best game to see.
This is the time here where you just got to kind of fight through at this point. Friday afternoon, you got little nicks and scratches and things bothering you from being out here all week. But as soon as the game starts, you got to try to forget about all that stuff and just go do what you came here to do.
Definitely the ground has been rough on all the players, but I'm sure that they will conquer as we get ready to take the field.
It don't matter. I'll get it later.
And the key, of course, as we always talk about, is what team is going to be most on top of it defensively, because both of these teams can rake it. Which pitchers are going to be on it early. Both pitchers, Hall of Fame pitchers, not going to be feeling the pressure of the situation.
And we've talked about how offense and defense are both important to the game, but something that we do focus on every now and then, and I want to give a great big shout out, all of our volunteers. We have field judges, we have base judges, we have our scorekeepers, we have our base machine runner, we have people running everybody water to all the fields, keeping all the players hydrated, running equipment, we have medics. We want to give a great big shout out to all those volunteers who help make all this possible, being out here in this heat all day and all week long. We really appreciate that.
Always got to thank the volunteers. We can't play this game without them, so thank you to all the volunteers for sure.
It's kind of a thankless job, especially if you're a spotter. I can only imagine what it's like to be a spotter. You're just running around the whole time, just trying to make sure that all your guys are lined up in the field, everyone's where they need to be, every ball that's hit, you need to be on top of it. Spotters, scorekeepers, everyone you just mentioned, just thankless jobs at times, but just incredible.
You can hear to our left the Thunder. They're up, they're clapping, they're chanting, they're starting to get their spirits up. They're ready to get in on this game, dig in, and to show why they have been the champions.
You got Darnell Booker over there hyping the team up and reading off the lineup. Both of these teams are very lively teams and keep the energy very, very high all game long.
Yeah, I'm pretty entertained. This is the cheer.
They knock that ball to the wall. Sounds like they're going out and looking for some homers there.
And this is a team with true camaraderie, and we saw it from the Jets yesterday. You can see why these teams are ranked 1 and 2, not just because of the talent that they have, because of the way they truly are banded as a team. I mean, they come out as a family, and they're the Jets on the other side. Same thing.
Now you can start to hear the Jets. They're a little bit further away on our right. They've had their cheer, and they're all heading back down closer to their bench.
This is a Thunder team, though, not used to losing, has taken the beat baseball world by storm, really. Think about it. John said the average age was 20, 21, so these boys have been winning championships since they were in their teens.
Absolutely, and they're fresh, they're young, they feel that hunger, that competitive edge. This is definitely going to be great to watch. This green hair is just really mind-boggling me here. It's definitely a bright green, just about the color of their jerseys. Many of them are wearing green socks or tights underneath their shorts. Definitely a lot of team color going on.
Hopefully that dye doesn't start to run down when they start to sweat.
When they sweat, it's dripping in their eyes and you see green.
Yeah.
Not green with envy either. Jets are taking the field.
Starting with the Indy Thunder, we thank all of you who are listening on behalf of the NBBA. And this is hosted by Visit Wichita, presented by our friends at InVision. This is the Beat Baseball World Series of 2021, Jets and Thunder.
A couple practice pitches in here by Jared Woodward on the Thunder. He's already trying to wipe the sweat off of his face, and they're just getting started.
So no score. This is the lead batter here. Guessing it's
The
gonna be
lead batter is, well, we have 3 numbers. Let's see. It's Eric Rodriguez. He's getting his batting gloves on, his white gloves, as he's at the plate. He's got a red bandana tied around his head, kind of goes with his red arm sleeves.
Jets doing their check in the field. Make sure everyone's ready to go. Everyone's accounted for, pumped up.
Setting up at the base, and we're getting ready for the first pitch. Got our base check. And play ball, good to go. There was a tip off, just rolled off the bottom of the bat there for Eric.
Our umpire today is Kemp Price.
Kemp Price, an old veteran. 29 years as an umpire.
Oh, and a strike. He was just over the top of that ball.
So 2-0 the count. 0-2, I apologize. You can take 1 pitch.
And he's taking a pass
That's
there.
good there. So for Beat Baseball, for those of you just tuning in,
Oh, and another solid miss, only by about a half an inch.
4 strikes and you're out, and you can take 1 pitch for your timing. And we'll get to some other rules as the game progresses.
Solid pop-up right to the catcher. Twisted right back up above him. That was about 8 foot up.
So 1-3 the count. Nobody out. Top 1. No score.
Solid hit, a grounder over in left field. Went right to Zach. He dropped it, and he's got it back in the air again. Fumbled the ball, but did get it back up in the air.
Kemp Price, I think, gave him the benefit of the doubt for that first one, though, because he said he's out, I think, right before he was fumbling it. So good play by Zach Arambula, right on it, and you need to against a guy like Eric Rodriguez and his speed. Big first out on him to start the game, and Zach Arambula picking where he left off against the Indy Edge.
Yeah, I believe up front on the left side, it's definitely Zach Arambula. On the right, it's probably Ricky Castaneda, I'm assuming, who actually made the defensive all-star team in Bolingbrook as well.
A hard line drive over into right field, and he is out again. That one was by David Smith. David Smith had the put out for that.
And who at batter? So that was cool. I believe that was
That
Corey.
one was Gerald.
Okay.
Gerald Dykes.
Gerald
Yeah.
Dykes. Gerald Dykes hits the first pitch as hard as he can. Sounded like it was on that right side. Good play by David Smith. We saw him make the plays when called upon against the Edge as well. He had 3 putouts.
And David Smith's really been working on his defense. He was more of an offensive player when he joined the league, and he's been working hard, and it's really showing now.
More
Next
of an
up, we have
offense.
Corian.
Judging by his 4 for 5 game against the Edge yesterday. Very good offense.
There's a call for a new ball on the field.
2 outs.
A very vibrating sound. You can just barely hear that. Putting the plug back in the ball so we can get a new one.
Using those Fonzie balls. Practice with the Denver balls. I heard the Thunder, or one of those teams was doing some practicing with the Denver balls, but during the game, during this World Series, we've been using these Fonzie balls. 2 outs in the first.
Couple tosses there with the new ball. As Corian stretches that back up behind his back to keep himself limber. Got our base check done. Ready to go. Corian White. And a tip off, it rolled right off the top of his bat and slid off toward the catcher.
1 strike on the batter, 2 outs in the.
That rolled right under his bat, dropped at his feet and behind him.
So he was struggling, Jared was, in his first few pitches to Eric Rodriguez, but he seems to be consistently now making contact on every pitch. Getting some instruction there from the pitcher.
Solid line drive out into left field. It went right to Zach, though. He just scooped that up, laid down, was right to him.
Yeah, and part of coming right to you is being positionally sound and being in the right place at the right time and making sure you are in those right places. And that's the advantage of having, top-notch spotters, top-notch coaches. These guys hit it solidly. Corian, that was a solid shot to that left side. But Zach Arambula was just positioned perfectly, and that was his second put out of the inning. So he's definitely on it early defensively, not letting anything get past him. Positionally sound both times. And a scoreless top of the first inning for the Thunder. This really opens the door for the Jets to get off to a strong start.
So we have Kevin, who's already made his way to the pitcher's area. He's digging in his cleats, trying to find a great stance position to give him the best advantage, and a couple tosses.
We saw the game get off to a relatively slow start yesterday. From an offensive standpoint, it was only 1-1 after the first inning. It was 2-1 for a while. Really, the Jets scored a run in each of the first 3 innings, really until the 4th inning was when the game took off, and the edge, unless your name is Nick Mulhern, never took off. So, we'll see what kind of a game it is today, but the Jets still, even against a team like the Thunder, holding them off the scoreboard in the first inning. So
That's big. That's big, for sure.
Again,
So Thunder getting situated out in the field. Spotters making some last-minute adjustments with their players.
for those beat baseball 6-on-6, 6 innings.
Okay, and we have our first batter, Zach, coming up to the plate, right-handed hitter. You can hear the warning there from Booker calling out to the field. It is Zach, guys. They need to know what is coming their way.
Had a rough offensive game against the Edge yesterday, but made up for it in the field and has already made a couple sterling plays in the field today.
So we have Zach feeling home plate and getting his positioning set. Kevin already popping jokes early in the game.
And these teams also absolutely have a lot of fun, and that's evident.
Okay, we're ready for the first pitch for the Jets. Oh, and he just slid right underneath that. You could almost see no air between the ball and the bat.
You could hear that one too.
Solid hit right along the line in left field. It is going to be fair. Rushing to... and he just got him.
Good run to the base by Zach
That was
Arambula.
Eric Rodriguez for the putout for the Thunder.
Yeah, he is, from what I've heard, John, one of the best players in the world, if not the best defensive player in the world.
Yeah, I would probably put him number 1 right now. At all the regional tournaments and in past World Series, he's always on the defensive and usually the offensive all-star team. And he's always right around 1 or 2 consistently. So,
hustle to make that play even by a half second, by a split second. That's the first run of the game, and momentum for the Jets. He makes the play. 1 out.
David Smith up to bat.
Now this guy has some power, David Smith. He can put the ball out there.
Yep, as mentioned, 4 for 5 in his game against the Indy Edge yesterday. 4 for his first 4.
Oh, and he was over the top of that by about 2 inches.
We're in the bottom of the first, still Jets 0, Thunder 0. NBBA 2021 World Series.
Soft hit on the ground over into left field. Eric rushing for that ball. It's bounced off of him.
Oh, he dug it out.
Oh, and he is safe. You can see the frustration there with Eric as he tosses the ball down. It was a mere split second.
And in a game like this, it's a significant play as the Jets now take a 1-0 lead with 1 out in the bottom of the first. And David Smith, he'll tell you that he didn't want that ball. That was not a good hit for him, and he just hustled, and that's what it takes. And Eric Rodriguez will tell you he should have had that ball right off his body.
He would.
Tough break.
So we have Axel Cox up to bat.
You saw him score a couple runs, Rosina, against the Indy Edge yesterday. Also saw him make a couple plays in the field. Sorry, 1 run. He was 1 for 5. But he's had a couple of nice plays in the field. Newly elected board member.
A tip-off coming right over to our table here as it bounced out of the catcher's net.
Yeah, Axel actually received the most votes to be elected onto the board.
Got the newly elected board member. Have a plane coming by overhead.
Right to my feet. I don't think I had one perfectly hit to me like that as a player. 1 strike on the batter, 1 out in the inning.
Axel staying relaxed, putting his bat back on home plate. Just keep his positioning, but to stay limber and relaxed. Kevin looking up in the sky to try to track that plane.
And this game is going to be, pretty much right through the afternoon, so it's going to be only getting hotter throughout the course of the game. Like John said, you just got to toughen it out. Stay hydrated.
All right. Axel pulling his bat back as he's prepared for the pitch. Hard, solid line drive over to left field past Eric. They're scrambling for the ball. And he is safe again. About a second too late for Miguel out in the field. Second too late.
Once it gets past Eric Rodriguez, they're scrambling for the ball, as you mentioned. Then it's just a race at that point between the fielder and the hitter wins that race by a second. And that's a 2-0 lead for the Jets, still only 1 out. And so far for the Thunder, a tough first inning. Definitely not the first inning that they envisioned.
And we have up at bat, Ricky will be next. Another one he's only done half of his hair green, just one side, the right side.
Is this Castaneda?
And this is.
Ricky Castaneda. I think he's about 19 or 20 years old. He's probably the youngest starting member of the Jets.
Youngest.
And we saw him score 3 runs in that game against the Indians yesterday.
Little Meat is his nickname. And
Little Meat?
Little Ricky.
Little Meat. Little Ricky.
Oh, and he was over the top of that by about an inch and a half.
And you heard the pitcher kind of talking about his cadence. Wait a little bit, relax.
High pop up, a good 80 feet in the air, over into left field, just in front of Eric, and he is out. Oh my goodness, he is out.
That's a heartbreaker there for
the base there.
him. It sounded
he kind of bounced on the base. He was just short of it, and he bounced onto it.
But that pickup would have been before that anyway?
Yes, the pickup would have been before that by David Smith.
He got some air under there. I thought he might make it on that one, but a good play by Eric Rodriguez out there.
Yeah, it was almost a launch and then bounced off the back end of the base.
Was that Eric's play officially?
Eric did, yes, number 7, Eric.
That's his second put out of the inning. So, yeah, solid hit. And we always talk about, those pop-ups, how difficult they can be. Once that hit the ground, though, it was positionally sound, made the play.
Aaron up at bat.
A good beat baseball hit doesn't necessarily have to go very far. If you can get it nice and high, it's a really, really hard ball to field.
Yep. 2 outs now, bottom 1.
High pop up again right along left field. It's going to be interesting to see if and
finally lands.
Oh, I think he's going to have to double check to see if that's foul. It was very close to whether.
Then the question is, was he safe or out? Because that was also really close. Sounded like.
That was about.
He's saying very confidently that it was.
Sounded to me like he reached the base before they called foul, but even if it goes foul after you reach the base, it's still foul, unfortunately.
It also sounded like Indy was right on it to try to pick it up right before he reached
Eric
the base
Rodriguez
as well.
was right over there, but it bounced just maybe a foot before the third base there.
But umpire very confidently says it was foul. We have 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Jets off to a quick 2-0 lead.
And Aaron is back up at the plate again. Kevin wiping all the sweat off of his face. Want to make sure you're seeing absolutely the best for pitching.
Runs by David Smith and Axel Cox.
This is Aaron Almanza up right
Yes, now. Aaron Almanza.
Double A, they call him.
Kevin giving some more instruction to the
Keep it
catcher and the batter. line driver over the left field, but it's going to, oh, it rolled right underneath Eric's hands. Oh, but so number 16 right behind him picked it up, and that was Miguel. Picked that up great back up there as it slid right between Eric's hands, maybe about 2 inches from his hands.
Yeah, he had a tough break, Miguel did, in the Axel Cox at bat. Almost got there in time for that one once it got past Eric. This time, perfectly positionally sound backing up, and you heard Kevin Simpson as soon as that ball was hit. He didn't think it was going to get past Eric, but he knew, it was pretty much right into the teeth of the Thunder fielders. He said, as soon as it was hit, and it was a put out. So that is the end of the first inning. So we switch sides and go to the second. It is 2-0 Jets. A good start for them.
Let's see if they can hold on with that defense that we've seen that they have, and they can hold the Thunder down.
Nice play by Miguel Tello there. He's also a very strong defender.
2 putouts by Eric Rodriguez as well. So he and Zach Arambula each with 2 to start the game for them respective teams, David Smith and Axel Cox.
I don't know if he would have made it in time, but right behind Miguel was Richie Flores. Also was about 3 steps off of that ball as well.
No, Richie Flores, it wouldn't have been him. Corian maybe, or Corey? Probably.
Yeah, because Richie's the Jet.
Yep.
Or I'm sorry, he's out there right now.
Yeah.
Oh, and as a practice piss, almost hit the batter in the nose as he was leaning over the plate to set up.
So again, the winner of this game essentially just makes it to Championship Saturday, which is tomorrow. They advance with no losses, and they don't have to play for the rest of the day, and they will be the #1 ranked team going into tomorrow.
And Corey White up at bat, and a grounder along the left baseline. See if it's right, almost on the line. And he is going to be safe, so that is the first point for the Thunder by Corey White.
Simply outran that one, hit it short. He had to outrun it, and he did. And that's what John talked about earlier. You can, the pop-ups, but speed can kill. Whether it's a pop-up, whether it's a ground ball, you can hit it 180 feet in the air, but speed kills. You can hit it as short as possible, and you can outrun it, and Corian did in that at bat.
Well, it was very strategically placed as it ran right almost on the line. So Zach definitely had a long way to run over there to grab it.
And that's the way to beat this Jets team, I guess, if there's any. Make them scramble for it defensively. If it's anywhere near them, they're hustling. They're getting to that ball. Thunder on the board, 2-1.
Kyle Lewis up at bat for the Thunder. This is a left-handed hitter here. Oh, and he tipped off the ball. His bat rolled right over the top.
Actually, also recently elected to the board as well.
Another board member. High pop up a good 80 feet over into right field. It's back in the back outfielders. They're running for the ball. There's not a chance. So that is going to be another point for the Thunder.
Thunder waking up a little offensively in this inning for sure. That ball didn't hit the ground for a solid 5 seconds. I didn't think there was any chance that was going to be caught. It's now a 2-2 game. It's a new game, and the Thunder are here now. They've arrived.
It's a good thing there were no geese up there flying overhead, because that would have taken them out.
That ball sounded like it was crushed.
A home run, by the way, in beat baseball. We talked about going over some rules as we progress here. If you hit it 170 feet, beyond 170 feet in the air, so not if it bounces, it has to bounce beyond 170 foot, that is a home run, and that is 2 runs for your team. If you were to, by some chance, catch the ball in the air, that would be, the side would be retired regardless of the out situation. If there's no outs, if there's 2 outs, the side is retired and for your defensive team.
This is Miguel with a short pop-up over into right field. That is going to be foul, just bouncing outside.
So, Matt, you mentioned the winner of this game advances to the championship, and a huge factor in this game is whoever wins this game and advances to tomorrow would then have to be beaten twice to be eliminated, because they have no losses, and this is a 2-loss elimination tournament. So whoever comes out on top of this is going to be in a really good position.
And likely considering the caliber of teams that we've seen.
And he's taking that pitch. It's a nice pass.
We're going to see, probably the Jets and Thunder again at some point. This might not be the last time you see these two teams squaring off, and I wouldn't want to be in a position to have to beat
short little pop-up right by the pitcher and rolling back.
The only time we would see them square off again is tomorrow in the championship game at this point. So
1-2 on the batter. 1 out in the Yep, nobody out in the inning. I apologize. Nobody out in the inning.
Line drive right to left field, and it's again right into Zach. There's just no avoiding that. Not a chance.
Yep, that's just one of those things. That's his third put out of the day. What's perfectly hit to you. It doesn't matter how fast you run on that
20.
one. So Zach Arambula.
Back up at the top with Eric Rodriguez and his red headband.
Definitely didn't have a first inning that he's going to like too much. There was a ball that he feel like he should have had. There was another ball that went under him that Miguel was able to back up for the out. And he made an out in his at-bat. So.
Hard pop-up about 70 feet up into left field, bouncing right in front of Zach again. Can he grab it? No, he is safe. Oh, he is beating the field with his hand. The anger that he did not have that ball. It was down. His hand was on the ball on the grass, but he did not have it up in the air.
Against players like Eric Rodriguez, you need to execute everything perfectly immediately, or that can happen, and that's exactly what happened here.
So here we have the Thunder has taken the lead now.
Yep, 3-2. Still only one out. So this could be an inning. They could put up a crooked number.
Next, we have Gerald up at bat. Oh, that pitch was a little low and on the outside. The bat went right over the top of it by about 3 inches at the very edge.
Gerald Dykes 0 for 1. He made an out in the first inning.
A lot of speed here as well.
And just a light tap to that, and it just barely made it to the pitcher.
Probably didn't want that one. 2 strikes. We're in the top half of inning number 2. It's the Thunder 3 and the Jets 2 in this NBBA.
There was quite a bit of hustle there by Ricky on the Jets, so he was all the way almost up to the pitcher. Oh, and a solid miss by 2 inches.
And the pitcher blaming himself on that one, Jared, saying that's me. It's on me. 3 strikes. Still hasn't seen his pitch yet. We've seen the Thunder take a couple passes. The Jets pretty much never take a pitch off.
Oh, out. It's just barely missed by about an inch at the tip of the bat.
I believe that was our first K of the game, and I don't anticipate seeing a ton of them.
I was just about to say that same thing. First strikeout, and you hear the cheer go up. And in this kind of a game, as much as strikeouts, defensively, maybe don't pump you up as much as if you make a good defensive play. In a game like Jets and Thunder, if you can get an out via the strikeout, you don't care. You take that all day.
Corey and White. Pop up that's coming right over to our ump over here on the first base side.
A little PTSD from the first time.
Yeah, you better watch out, Matt. He's gunning for you. Oh, and a miss on that by about 2 inches.
You hear that swing. Some players you can
His
hear.
body spun all the way around, and his right hand actually went down onto the ground after that swing.
2 strikes.
High pop up, 75 feet, right up into center. It's dropping right. Oh, and he is going to be safe, though.
It's going to be a tough play with his speed.
Zach could not quite get the ball up in the air in time, so that is going to be another score for the Thunder.
So that's the 4th run of the inning. They now lead 4-2. And that was just, by the time that ball drops, you just simply have no time to make the play.
If both these teams can consistently put the ball in the air, they're going to score on the majority of the plays.
These pop-up hits are definitely key in this game. The longer it's in the air, it's much longer before those fielders can hear the ball and get to it.
And you're seeing it more with the Thunder. The first inning, they didn't really accomplish that too much. The second inning, they really have woken up. They've really found that pop-up. So 1 for 2 now for Corian. And here is the other brother, Corey.
Corey is up. We just had a slight adjustment with the third base. Corey wearing his bright red batting gloves.
2 outs.
Oh, the whistle on that swing. He was above it by about a ½ inch.
Corey, I believe, is the younger brother of the two.
1 strike on him, both. Just another example of an inter-family connection. You see it all across the league.
Readjusting his gloves here for Corey, tightening them back up. Oh, and another whistling bear miss. I think he's going to have to readjust his glove again. It does seem like the strap on his right hand keeps coming loose.
Yeah, you can definitely hear that swing as well. 2 strikes on him, 2 outs in the inning.
We're ready for the pitch. High pop-up, almost 80 feet up, center field. It's going
Gonna be tough.
right behind the first line of the. He is
Gonna be
safe.
tough.
No chance.
Gonna be tough.
5-2 lead that the Thunder has here now. They're building their momentum. Looks like it might be difficult to stop.
Yeah, we talked about how great the Jets defense is, but if you just don't give them a chance to make plays, you're not going to be able to make them. I mean, those that pop up, that man's speed, I mean, to the base is just unchallengeable. Like, how do you even... It almost seems unfair there.
Consistently, the whole team is probably hovering around 4.5 seconds to the base.
And when you pop up, when the pop-up doesn't drop for 3.5 or 4 of those seconds...
It's a numbers game. Pretty hard to beat. Have Kyle Lewis up at bat, left-handed batter. You know they're going to be looking for that in right field after this plane passes. And a solid miss by about 2 inches as he went underneath the bat.
Kyle smoked one last time. Deep.
Yeah, it was never going to be caught. He's 1 for 1. Corey's now 2 for 2. And this all started from a play that Zach Arambula felt like he should have made to begin the inning.
High pop-up, about 80 feet up, but it's going to foul ball. It's about 3 inches outside of the first base line.
So,
He was already to the base.
yeah,
That would've been a
Lewis
tough play.
definitely on it, yeah.
I'm mentioning that it was the first time he has outraced the ball as he makes his way back to the plate, taking a few deep breaths there, and the pitcher wiping the sweat off of his forehead.
2 strikes. We're in the top of the second. The Thunder have come up with 5 runs to take a 5-2 lead.
Taking a few leg stretches here before he comes back up to the plate. And he does have a pair of torn pants down by his right calf leg. Looks like he might have torn it right as he was hitting the base.
Ooh.
Getting another base check. Oh, and he took a pass. You can see him choke up there. His shoulders tightened up like he was going to go for the swing, but then he held back.
So 2 strikes, still has 2 chances there. Taking his pass. 2 outs.
High pop-up. This is going to come right back. Oh, and it hit him in the head as he was trying to jump out of the way. He wanted to catch it. He had his hands up above his head like he
thought
was
he
going to
did.
catch that, but it rolled down off his shoulders. Hopping up and down in his frustration that he wanted to catch that ball.
These guys hit it in the air for a long, long time. So the count's full now, so this pitch will be coming out either way.
I had one catch me in the shoulder the other day.
It can't be fun.
It wasn't too bad, but
It's not something you ask for.
doesn't feel exactly good, but it's gone in about 30 seconds.
I don't think a single person out there says, please hit me with the ball. Oh, and that's going to be out as he missed that by about 2 inches.
So that's a frustrating at bat there because he hit several balls, 3 or 4 of them he made contact with. For the Thunder, they pick up 5 runs. They take the lead in the game. I'm sure from the Thunder perspective that they are upset about the 2 strikeouts because they could have done a lot more damage. Their hitters were really on it. 2 strikeouts in the inning, 5 runs, bottom second, 5-2 Thunder.
And the Jets have a 3-point drag here. They're going to need to make up to even tie and then take the lead.
You'll see 6-1-2 for the Jets. So it'll circle back to the top of their order. You'll see Zach Arambula. You'll see Dave Smith. So you need to start getting those balls in the air as well. Getting those pop-ups. Get back in this game.
Umps coming up to the table to get hydrated. It's very important in this heat. And again, thank you for all of those volunteers who bring that water out and they're sitting out in this heat at the bases, spotters, bat carriers, everybody out there who is volunteering. We really appreciate that.
And again, this is hosted by Visit Wichita, and it's presented by our friends from InVision. We're bringing this game to you from the South Lakes Soccer Complex in Wichita, Kansas, the annual 2021 NBBA World Series of Beat Baseball. This is the Indy Thunder, and it's the San Antonio Jets. Matt Wallace, Rosina Foster, and John Margist.
Much anticipated game. As you can hear the Thunder out there sounding off out in the field. They're going to try to hold the Jets and keep them from gaining anything on them so they can hold their lead. The Jets are going to be desperate to dig in and get any points that they can get here.
I'll be back for you, Matt.
So first batter here in the bottom half of the second.
We actually have Ricky
Critical.
up to bat. Ricky. Is it Ruzicka?
Ruzicka, yeah.
Ruzicka.
Yep.
Ricky Ruzicka for the Jets.
Saw him hit a couple times yesterday. Wasn't in the initial starting lineup.
Oh, that's going to be foul outside of the third base line by about 10 feet, but it was a solid, hard grounder. But you got to know if it was inside the line, Eric Rodriguez was waiting there to grab that. Any grounders.
Absolutely, no matter how sharply they're hit, positionally sound. One strike. I'm thinking that might be the Indy Edge Austin Blackhawks game that you might hear behind us. As soon as we get an update on that.
A lot of cheering back over there. Ready for the pitch. Oh, that ball was a little low, probably about 3 to 4 inches underneath the swing.
So 2 strikes.
High pop up into left field, a good 70 feet up, dropping just over past Eric. But he is going to be safe. Eric could not quite, had his hands outstretched toward the ball, but didn't have them up enough to grab it and put it up in the air.
It's a big run for them, gets them back within 2 at 5-3. Not quite the base running that we've seen from the Thunder, and I was a little worried about him for a second there from that perspective, but he was able to get to the base just in time. And again, the advantage of popping it up in the air.
Have Zach back up at bat at home plate with his green hair concoction. Instead of being half his head or all of his head, is a stripe right down the center, almost like a mohawk green.
He's 0 for 1 in this game.
Kevin coming back up to the pitcher area as Zach swings the bat around before pulling it up to his shoulder. High pop up into center field, 70 feet or so in the air. Eric running over to get it in time, but not quite making it, fumbling it around in his arms as he was on the ground. So that is going to be another point. You can see the anger. Eric is just absolutely stalking back over to his position in left field.
Because in games like this, everything needs to be perfect, and Zach Arambula fast enough to beat that out. If you're even a half second slow, Eric could get that ball, and he respects the speed of Zach Arambula. You don't see a fielder like Eric Rodriguez make almost like 2 miscues in the same game. He did against the David Smith at bat earlier, and you saw on that one, it's got a little.
Now Eric was coming from left field all the way to past center, between center and right field, so he was coming from a long way, and he was stretched out, had the ball between his hands on the ground, just couldn't quite get it to his hands and up. We have the ump coming down to check first base. Seems to be an issue.
And the Indy coach said, tough play. That sounded like, in that vein, an almost incredible play. But he would still tell you he should have made it. And now it's a 5-4 game.
Yeah, it was sitting in a pocket there. It had dropped by Corey White.
A big spot there for Zach, and big players make big plays. There's a lot of players on both sides of these teams that have multiple championship rings, and Zach's one of them. I believe he has 1 or 2 with the Austin Blackhawks.
And I believe if I have it's the Austin Blackhawks and the San Antonio Jets. The San Antonio Jets kind of became their own team.
In 2016, yeah.
Okay.
I think they had so many players and multiple pitchers that they split off into 2 teams.
Okay.
We're ready for the pitch here.
Kevin Simpson, former pitcher for the Austin Blackhawks. And
hard line drive behind over the top of Eric Rodriguez, and it's past the outfielders. He is going to be safe. That just was a very hard staying afloat. It wasn't a pop-up, but it just did not come down. It had so much force behind it.
Dave Smith scored in his first at-bat in the first inning on a ball that he didn't want. That ball he wanted. He hit that one a long way. It bounced several, and it sounded like he almost missed the base for a second there. But now it's a tie game, 5-5, 2 for 2 for Dave Smith. We've seen him really rake it these last couple days.
Yeah, he was just on the inside of the third base. Almost missed it.
So you talked about that 3-run deficit, Rosina. They made it up, and now they still have nobody out.
5-5.
You can hear the Jets. They have individual cheers for each player when they score a run. So
This is Axel Cock back.
Reminiscent of the Boston Renegades. They aren't here this year. But
Oh, that pitch was just a touch low as the ball was under the bat, probably about 3 inches.
Axel 1 for 1 scored in the first.
Pitcher having the catcher lower his mitt there.
Axel was also a part of those Boston Blackhawks.
Oh, and a
teams.
grounder. It popped up and it nailed Kevin Simpson in the knee.
So that'll be a dead ball. No pitch.
Hope Kevin Simpson's okay.
He seems to be walking all right. He was trying to jump out of the way, but it come up and it caught him in his left kneecap.
That had that angry sound off the bat.
That solid
Line
thunk.
drive sound, yep. So there's nobody out in the inning still. In the bottom of the second, the Jets have rallied to tie the Thunder 5-5 and looking for a lot more.
Oh, and he slid under that by about 1/4 inch. That was very close.
So second strike. So since it was a dead ball, it was no pitch.
Yep. No pitch, replay, whatever you want to call it, just like it didn't happen.
Yep.
Oh, that pitch was a little low again. He was right over the top of that ball by about 1 inch.
And he's Kevin admonishing himself.
Oh, and it's going to be a little grounder, but it's going straight to Eric. Let's see if he can grab it. And easy. He had that in time. That is going to be an easy out for Eric.
We call that room service.
Yep.
Room service.
And as soon literally as soon as he hit it, Kevin knew it. And he said it. Eric Rodriguez, he's not going to miss that. Third put out for him already to match Zach Arambula for game high honors. So both of them, defensive players that they are, showing it early in this game, the bottom of the second inning.
And we have a plane again overhead. Next up at bat is going to be Ricky. And as they, I guess, call him Little Ricky, which is kind of interesting to hear because we've heard so many Big Joes, Big Rons, Big Robs. It's kind of nice to have a Little Ricky.
A little one, yeah. Looking to get his first.
He's relaxing the bat here. And it's a very interesting stance here that Ricky has. I always like to see the differences in all the batters. And he has the bat up tight up against his hip, like not even out away from his body. He actually literally holds the handle up against his stomach. Right under that ball by about 1 inch.
One out in the inning. Bottom 2.
Yeah, that is a little different. I didn't realize he held the bat that way.
Yeah, he holds it right up against his body with his hands holding it right tight against him. Oh, and he was over the top of that by about 1 inch. Oh, and he was right over the top of it. There's maybe a 1/2 inch there of space.
Third strike, so we'll see if 3 strikes he can do what Axel Cox did, put the ball in play.
Oh, and he's going to be out. Just solidly missing by about that inch.
Kind of a surprising at bat there.
That's Kevin's first strikeout, I believe, correct, Matt?
Yep, first strikeout for Kevin. So each Jared with 2, Kevin with 1.
Oh, we have Aaron
Still
coming
not much
up.
of a factor.
And Aaron has some even his shoes are green. And this is like a totally devoted team with their color here. He's got Green Bay Packers socks on and then bright green cleats.
0 for 1 for him. Maiden out back in the first. 2 outs in the second.
High up into left field. It's past Eric. Oh, I don't know if they're going to make this in time. Oh my gosh, he is out. That was about a half a second.
It's Miguel.
That is Miguel for the sliding over there, backing up Eric, running over for the baseline. That was only about 12 feet inside the third baseline.
And they are pumped up on the Thunder sideline. That was apparently a terrific play on the Thunder bench. They're really pumped up about that. He slid all the way over. That's his second put out of the game. So he's clearly on it defensively as well. He really made a good play on that one. I wouldn't have thought that one would have been caught either, by the way. It sounded like it was hit. So really, through 2 innings, he's turned this to the third inning. It has been about as evenly matched as you can think. 5-5. The 2 top defensive players, 3 putouts for Arambula, 3 putouts for Eric Rodriguez. There's a couple guys with 2 runs for each. David Smith has 2 runs. Corey has 2 runs. So it's been everything we've.
It's lived up to the expectations thus far, for sure.
It's very interesting to notice out in the field, the Jets, Ricky is practicing his slides and stops out in the field, sliding in to catch a pitch, running back and forth across the field there as he was sliding. He wants to be prepared to snag anything that comes his way.
Yeah, they definitely need to practice. I guess there's really no practice, but it's really about getting those pop-ups. We saw 5 runs in the second inning for the Thunder, and the majority of them were on those really hard popped-up balls.
When the ball's popped up, you basically have to get directly in front of it and almost catch it on the first bounce.
Yep.
This is Miguel with a line drive right over to Zach, though. Again, room service, as you said.
Yep.
Totally right there. He was out.
4th put out for him, and I do believe that is the second time he has been a victim of Zach, and the second time he's hit it directly to Zach. So that's going to be out number 1.
We're back up with Eric Rodriguez at bat again. And I know he's been frustrated with some of those near misses out in the field. So it kind of makes me wonder if there's going to be a little extra burst of power behind some of these hits.
Well, he's 1 for 2 in this game, Rosina. In the second inning, we saw definitely an extra burst of speed as Zach Arambula was right there. He was right under him, and he was just about to pick it up, and suddenly...
A hard grounder. It looks like it's going directly to Zach. And, scooped it. Literally, as he laid down, he didn't even have to reach down his body. It was right at his chest. Just scooped it up, held it up, easy as pie.
But that's what you have to do. If he hadn't done that, it would have been a run. You have to make it. The only way he's out there, most likely, is if he hits that ball right to Zach. So, 1 for 3 start for him. And how about this? 2 quick outs for the Jets defensively, and Zach Arambula now up to 5 putouts in the game.
Well, Gerald Dykus is back up at bat, and they're going to have to grab this quick if they want to stop him from getting to the base in time.
Yeah, he's 1 for 2, was retired in the first, but was part of the barrage in the second.
Umpires reminding everyone that for the need for silence. Oh, a little bit of a high swing, and he went just over the ball by about 1/4 of an inch. Readjusting at the plate. Getting a grip on his bat, and he is ready. Oh, it's bounced right at the pitcher. Bounced off him. It's down into center. And again, Zach just nailing that. Just scooted over a little towards center and scooped it right up. Didn't even lay out flat. Just squatted down in front of it, laid down, popped it up.
Most definitely, we're going to have to pay attention to how big of an impact this particular inning has made. It may be a big impact indeed, because 3 putouts for Zach Arambula, and you can see how pumped up the Jets are. That was a really good inning. Not the hardest balls. The Thunder not able to get those pop-ups that we saw in the second inning necessarily. Really 3 room service plays for Zach, and you got to give credit where credit's due. He was positionally sound. He did what he needed to do, and he made the plays without a hitch. But I'm sure the Thunder will look back at this inning with regret as the game goes on. Just a 1-2-3 inning, 3 superb plays. And from a Thunder perspective, that's now 2 out of 3 innings, interestingly enough, where they've actually been held off the scoreboard. So you know, from that perspective, if they wind up dropping this one, they'll look the first and they'll look at the third so far with maybe a little regret.
That was a great defensive inning there by Zach, also nicknamed Twinny Twin Twin.
Twin.
In reference to his number 20.
We have Ricky back up at bat and fitting his white batting gloves on and getting them strapped on tight before he steps up to the field. Kevin coming up to the pitcher's mound. Yeah, we have a time from the game next to us. A little loud cheering. Can't help them for being proud of whatever just happened. I guess as long as you weren't on the losing side of whatever that cheer was, that's fine.
Absolutely. We're in the top of the third inning. Bottom of the third inning. It's a 5-5 game between the Indy Thunder and the San Antonio Jets.
Oh, and he just rolled right over the top of that. I didn't even see any space between the ball and the bat. High pop up into left field. It looks like it's going to drop right behind Eric. Oh, and he scrambled it up, scooped it up, though. That is out by Eric.
His fourth put out of the day, so he's on it, obviously. It bounced behind him, unfortunately for the batter. It didn't bounce past that point, and Eric had the opportunity to get it. Good pop-up.
Zach back up at bat, and this is absolutely, so far, been the best beat ball I have seen.
Absolutely, 100%.
This is the key part of the game right here. They have the top of the lineup coming up. If they can put a few on the board here, that'll be a big momentum swing.
Especially since, you know, as we keep talking about, the Jets are batting last, so this is their chance to do the order.
Ready for the pitch. High pop up into left field. If this stays fair, it's going to be excellent. Yep, that is definitely fair. Oh, it bounced right on Miguel's head. He almost had it to his hands and it bounced up on his head. He reached up above his head and grabbed the ball, but it was too late. That was safe.
That's his second at bat in a row that has resulted in a run, and we saw him struggle offensively against the Indy Edge. Not so in this game. He is on it. And speaking of 2 runs scored, here's a man already with 2 runs scored, Dave Smith. The Jets now in front, 6-5 in the bottom of the third inning, and you know nothing Miguel could really do about that. By the time that ball bounced, Zach Arambula just simply too fast.
Zach's having a big time game today, delivering on defense and offense.
He's doing
6
excellent
putouts,
on both. Yes. Kevin giving a little bit of instruction there to David.
And I'm telling you, if this game,
David refills home plate.
if this game ends in the way the score is right now, Zach Arambula's third inning might be what to look back at. 3 putouts, scored a run.
Oh, a
Key moment
near
in this
miss by
game.
about an inch and a half as he slid right over the top of that ball. It was a very level, even swing.
Dave Smith 2 for 2, 6 for 7 in the 2 games that we've done.
Oh, and it's going to pop over. Foul over off first base to the ump.
David Smith actually dabbles in a little singing as well. He's a singer.
What type of music?
He does a little like R&B-ish.
R&B-ish. That would be interesting to hear.
Yeah.
He put something out there on Facebook, and it was pretty good.
Okay, this is a little grounder just past the pitcher in second. It made it into fair play. But he is out, and that is going to be Eric has got him out. Eric Rodriguez with a little bit of revenge there for some of those near misses.
Put out number 5 for him, and again, Kevin Simpson generally always knows. He again kind of grunted once David Smith hit that ground ball. Kind of knew that wasn't what he was looking for. He did beat a play like that out in the first inning, but not this time. You're not going to beat Eric Rodriguez twice, most likely.
Axel Cox here up at bat. Standing on home currently as he steps back off of it.
Axel, a.k.a. Smooth 22.
He scored a run in this game back in the first.
Oh, just a little bit early on the swing there as he went just underneath the ball.
2 outs, bottom of the third, so from a Thunder perspective, they get Axel Cox out here. They feel like they weathered a little bit of a storm. They trail only 6-5.
Oh, it's going to be a light grounder into left, just barely. Is it going to be fair? Oh, he is safe. Eric was sliding
That
up
was-
as his hands reached out to grab the ball. He pushed the ball literally in front of him by about 3 inches, had to scoot himself forward because he was already stretched out at full capacity, and that is all it took for Axel to make it to the third base.
It sounded like he said ball, or did he say maybe a swear or something? Because it sounded like he might have picked it up like a split second before, but he might have.
He was grasping for it with his fingers. He was already fully outstretched, and it just pushed
It just
the ball a
eluded
little
him.
further out of his reach
And that's a
instead of
couple-
grabbing it.
It seemed like the umpire thought he was bringing it up, and he went
Yeah.
safe, and then he pushed
And then
it
he-
away,
yeah.
and that's when he changed it to the safe call.
Real tough break there, and another one that Eric would probably tell you he should have had. He's had a couple in this game, and he's all over the field. It's a 7-5 game now.
Oh, and a tip on that first pitch for Ricky.
This is Ricky Castaneda.
And again, this is the one that mentioned he has that stance with his bat up tight against his body.
And he is the lone
And
strikeout.
A strike, is it? The middle portion of the bat sits right up against his ear, and the base is right up against his stomach.
He's a lone strikeout, so he's looking to get redemption for that.
On a solid hit over into left, but it went right to Eric. Food service, as they say.
So Zach Arambula says, look what I can do. Eric Rodriguez says, I can do the exact same thing. 3 putouts in the third inning, 6 putouts through 3 innings for both men. The difference, however, the Jets do pick up a couple runs, and they lead 7-5 as we head now to the 4th inning.
The Jets are making their way out onto the field.
Oh, thanks,
Thunder has 2 points they need to at least hit to tie it up.
Thunder will be-
Coming up for more water again as well.
Thunder should be setting up their 3, 4, 5 guys here.
Oh, just a touch of a breeze.
So you'll
Don't know
see the
how-
brothers. Yeah, that touch of a breeze does feel good.
It's trying to lean in to catch some of it, but I think it has already disappeared.
And that's the thing, you gotta lean in. If you don't catch some of it right away, it will disappear. It's a tease. It's been a tease all week. But we have a 7-5 game here through 3 innings, through the first half of this game. And, honestly, this game still has been about as evenly matched as possible. I'd say that the Jets' slight lead is due to just a couple of plays that the Thunder bemoaned that they maybe should have had a couple of times. Miguel and Eric Rodriguez on a couple of plays where, the ball was that split second before getting to the base, just fumbled or just missed, and that's a 2-run deficit. That's, that's all the difference. So see what happens in the second half of this game. I think we're taking a delay for a water break, or is
It's not a water break. It's just a call for water, trying to make sure that the Thunder has plenty of water over at their bench. Again, we need to stay hydrated in this heat. They're out there not only just standing in it, but physically exerting themselves, batting, running, catching. Need to stay hydrated. And thank you to those volunteers who bring that out and keep everybody well hydrated. We have Corian White up at bat.
So again, we thank those of you for joining on behalf of the NBBA. I'm Matt Wallace, Rosina Foster, John Margis.
Oh, that little grounder. It's going into left field. Will Zach get to that? And he is out. He did
Back
get it up
again.
in time. Zach.
What a base run. He still almost beat that out.
Yeah, the White brothers, they definitely have some speed. So
I mean, that play had to be made in perfect timing, but made it was for the 7th putout for him. That's out number 1, and that's 1 for 3 for him. But this boy, the second White brother is 2 for 2.
Corey White. Yeah, Zach definitely had his body wrapped around that ball. It was just a matter of did he get it up in time before the base, and he did.
Made the last 4 outs for the Thunder.
High pop up a good 85 feet in the air in center field, right behind Zach. There's no way that is going to be a score.
I could hear how high it went, and when it gets that high with this speed, it's almost impossible to pick that up.
That was a good 85, 90 feet in the air, and then it landed right behind Zach. There was just really no way to get that.
3 for 3 now. He has been on it today. Corey White. That's a 7-6 game. Or was that? I'm sorry. Corian is the 4th place hitter.
That was
Corian.
Corey
That was
who just
Corey.
went.
Okay, so I was right. Okay, so 3 for 3. He has half of the runs for the Thunder today. They're within 1.
Just a perfect beat baseball hit.
Have Kyle Lewis up at
No
bat.
chance.
Left-handed hitter.
Saw Kyle Lewis drive one in the second inning.
Oh, and that was at the end of his bat, rolled right off to the catcher's mitt.
Jared is so meticulous up there. He doesn't waste much time.
Oh, and it's
From
going to be
pitch
a
to pitch.
high over into left field behind Zach, going to Richie Flores. It fumbled out of his arms. He is going to be safe. That's going to tie it back up. You know, the Thunder is feeling totally reinvigorated.
That was, I just talked in between innings about the tough plays that maybe the Thunder, maybe about one or two of them over these past couple innings by Eric that maybe he felt like he should have had, those bang plays. This is one Richie Flores I know will tell you, man, I just fumbled it. I could have had it. It was a split second, probably a really tough play to make. It was a perfect beat baseball hit, but Richie Flores still good backing it up. Not the fastest guy on the Thunder, Kyle Lewis. Still made it to the base, tied the game at 7.
Yeah, as a beat baseball player, when you get your hands on it and you don't get it up and the batter just gets there, it's frustrating. But Richie's a good defender and he'll recover.
It looked like it kind of rolled over his wrist. He didn't quite have it to his hands, and the speed on it pop up center field right behind the pitch. It is tight. Can they get to it in time? He is safe. Ricky not quite making it in time. It was all the way up, maybe 6 inches past that 40-foot line.
And again, that's really a tough play. Those
Sweet spot.
those coffin corners or balls that just go over that 40-foot line. The defender has to sprint up about 40 or 50 feet, depending on where they're set up, and pick that ball up that's just sitting there. And if you don't do it quickly with these runners, you're not going to get it.
Then you're not going to get it.
And that's 2 for 3 for their 6th batter. Who's that 6th batter of theirs?
We have Eric is back up. That one was Miguel.
Miguel. So he's been doing well. Actually, no, I apologize. That's his first run of the game, but he has been doing the job defensively with a couple putouts. So the Thunder are back up by 1. About in the top of the 4th. They're back up 8-7. They've responded to the momentum.
And that was a roll off the top of the bat to the catcher.
Miguel Tello, usually a DF in the past on Indy's run in a lot of occasions, but due to not having Tyler Rodriguez and Zach Bueller, he finds himself in the lineup and come out with a big run there.
Oh, it's going to be a line drive just short into left field. It's going to go right to Zach, though, and he's got it up. Just crawled on his elbows, got it.
That's the 8th put out for him, the 2nd out of the inning. And Eric Rodriguez at the plate, only 1 for 4 in this game, trying to strategically place a line drive to try to outrun it. And it's hard to do when Zach Arambula is the guy short, who keeps making those plays.
I have Gerald up to bat here.
Hitless so far today, and he has one of the strikeouts.
We're setting the field. Places, please.
Checking our bases.
So Gerald Dyke is looking to get off the schneid here. Very good hitter in their 2-hole.
Ready for the pitch. High pop up over into right field. And it's going to bounce foul. About 5 feet shy of the first base. Bounced out.
We're in the top of the 4th inning. Indy 8, Jets 7.
Heading back up to home plate here. It's kind of smart to take your time, catch a breather, especially in this heat. Feeling home plate. Setting his bat up all the way to the far end to get his stance for his feet. Gerald only wearing a glove on his left hand. Oh, and a hard pop slammed down his ground left field. Zach running over to grab it. And he does. He has it out.
So 3 runs for the Thunder in the top of the 4th inning, but another trifecta for Zach Arambula, who has now been responsible for the last 6 outs recorded defensively for the Jets. And from the Jets' perspective, you still have to be feeling pretty good because you're served in the 4th inning and you still only trail by 1 run. So really good inning for the Thunder. They got back off the mat. They needed those 3 runs. But for the Jets, still with the opportunity to bat last. And the longer this game goes, the more and more critical that coin toss situation is. Bottom of the 4th inning, the Jets still needed just 1 to tie, 2 to take the lead.
The Thunder heading on out into the field.
Yes, sir.
Feel the tension starting to build here, Matt. This is where
Especially as being
crunch time kicks in, and
a 7-8 game here at the fourth. This is definitely a low-scoring game, as you predicted.
Yeah, but as you said, John, this is it's getting late now. Bottom four. You know, once this inning ends, and you know, both teams will have completed 4 innings in crunch time. You know, these are two teams that don't want to play later today.
pressure spots, but they have a lot of experienced players on both sides of the ball that have been there before. So
this will be 5-6-1 for the Jets. A chance to do some damage. Thunder need to be on it defensively because the Jets still, I feel like, have the advantage due to the last at bat. 5-6-1 for the Jets. The Jets started off up 2-0. Thunder were able to rally with 5 runs in the second. The Jets tied it at 5 after 2. The Thunder didn't score in the third. The Jets went back up 7-5, bottom 3, and now the Thunder forged back in front 8-7. And again, the Titans of New Jersey fell to the Blackhawks 10-8. Don't have an update on that Edge Blackhawks game. I want to speculate. It sounded like the Edge were celebrating, but they were playing for the right to keep playing. The loser of the Edge Blackhawks game will be your 4th place team in the 2021 World Series.
So we have Aaron setting up to the plate.
Play ball.
Definitely need to grab some more points to sneak ahead here of the Thunder. Hard line drive over into left field, past Eric, over to Miguel. Is he going to grab it in time? He has it, and he is out.
16.
That was Miguel with the put out.
I say only 3 putouts, but all 3 putouts have been challenging. And I say that because, you know, it's tough to get past Eric. But he has 3 putouts today to go along with Eric Rodriguez's 6, and those men are responsible for 9 of the Jets' outs. They've been very on it throughout the course of this game. Solid hit by Aaron, but denied the tying run.
this is Ricky Rizika back up again, right?
What's that?
Just don't stand up or go backwards.
Okay.
Yeah, we have Ricky up at bat here. There was a small adjustment to the home plate as it had slid a little.
Play ball.
We saw Ricky get the rally going in the bottom of the third to erase the 5-2 deficit. He got that rally started. First run of that inning, only run he scored in this game.
Oh, it's going to be a line drive along the left baseline, but Eric is going to slide right over there, snag it up. He had that easy, at least a good 10 feet before he was at the base.
7 for 7 putouts for number 7, Eric Rodriguez, and all of a sudden the Jets maybe not feeling so much like they have an advantage because Eric Rodriguez is taking care of business defensively in this inning, and suddenly there are 2 outs. But this is the kind of game that we expected to see. Momentum changes, shifts back and forth.
Strong player, strong defense, and strong offense getting the job done. And who will it be? We have Zach up at bat for the Jets.
Another big spot here for Zach Arambula.
And his last 2 at-bats have resulted in runs, and the last one we saw last inning was just a crusher.
And Kevin makes his way to the pitch. Oh, and that's going to be a strike as he slides about 2 inches underneath that ball.
Kevin Simpson continuing to be hard on himself. We've heard several times during this game, pretty hard on himself.
It's going to be a solid pop-up into center, though. It's out past the field. They are running wild for it. He is easily safe. Way to go, Zach.
Not quite as fast of a base run as we've seen, but still fast enough. And once it got past Eric, it was a perfect beat baseball hit. As John has said throughout the course of this game, just a pop-up in the air. Too long in the air for the defenders to really do anything about it. Zach had enough speed to burn to get to the base, and a sigh of relief for the Jets. They will not go to the 5th. Trailing, they've tied the game 8-8.
That would have really kind of shifted the momentum a little bit there going into that inning with no runs. That was a big run to tie up the game there for Zach.
It was definitely had plenty of time to get there as it was way out past all the outfielders.
Third of the game for him, and David Smith looking to do the same. 2 for 3.
Push it. Push that in the field. Bases, please.
Bottom 4 with 2 down.
Play ball. Smith.
Oh, it's going to be a near miss by about 2 inches there, but you could hear the whistle on the wind of that bat.
You can definitely hear these boys swing in this game, more so than most teams.
Oh, it's going to roll off the bottom of the bat and down into foul.
If David gets a hold of one, it will go. He's a strong man.
And his pitcher kind of giving it to him a little bit. You were upstairs, you were early, relax.
Refilling for the front corner of home plate there.
2 strikes, and
We have a time called. We have a cart coming out into the outfield for the field ump.
we have an 8-8
It brought some
score.
fluids to him. I'm ready for the pitch again. It's going to be a grounder over to left. And you know that Eric is just going to try to scoop that up, and he is out.
And Dave Smith's got to feel 3 out of his 4 at bats. He has 2 runs scored, but he has, he's hitting 3 of those balls. He's hit 3 of those balls directly to Eric. He was able to beat one of them out, but still struggling to really get power behind that swing. They score 1 after 4 innings. 8-8. It was 5-5 after 2. It's 8-8 after 4. And so we have 2 innings, and it's a tie game.
Yeah.
Only 3 strikeouts combined on both sides. 2
And Ed,
for the.
Austin's leading 5-2
what inning?
in the 3rd inning.
So the Blackhawks of Austin, a little bit of a surprise here. I'm sorry I got distracted with my thought because we got a score update. They lead the Indy Edge, who was ranked 3 headed into this tournament, 5-2 in the 3rd inning. So we will continue to update on that as they become available.
It's a little surprising to me too, Matt. But maybe not so much. Austin got off to a bit of a rough start in this tournament, taking a loss to Chicago 3-2. But they do have a lot of veterans. They have a veteran pitcher in Tim Hibner, and Danny Fapiano, and Brandon Chesser, and guys who've been there before. So, it just seems like maybe it took them a little while to get going, but they're winning today. So.
And the Indy Edge,
Well, it
the
is still in the
21-year-old
3rd.
phenom Kyle Kennedy. See how they recover from that. Sorry, Rosina.
I was like, wow, it is still early in that
Yeah,
game.
no, it's
so they have
anyone's
plenty
game
of
in that
time.
game for sure.
But turning our attention back to this game, we got 2 innings left. We have a tie game. I mean, we said it after the 2nd when it was 5-5. After the 4th, it's 8-8. This is everything that we could have expected.
Bases, please.
Corey and White up to bat.
And 4, 5, and 6.
Play ball.
I'm sorry, 3, 4, 5.
High pop up over into left to center field. Dropping. Oh, it dropped right past Axel. Definitely, it dropped right in front of Axel and popped up between as he lifted his hands. It went right between them and went behind him.
After that, he had no chance.
There just wasn't enough time after that.
That's his 2nd run, and now here is really the star for the Thunder in this game. He's 3 for 3, and that's Corey.
And I noticed that the 2 brothers are numbers 3 and 6. Just kind of non-essential information. I wonder if they're 3 years apart.
So this is the top of the 5th inning.
Quiet, please. Hey, time. Bases, please.
I think it's somewhere around that. I believe Corey is somewhere around 18-ish and Corey on around 21 or 22.
I just thought that might be just kind of an interesting. Oh, and that was a hard swing, but a strike as he missed that by about half an inch. Swinging the bat up and winding up. Now refueling home plate.
Time.
Have a time. As an umbrella seems to be getting out of hand over on the Thunder side, almost blowing onto the field.
Corey yet to be retired in this game.
high pop-up, a good 80 feet up in the air to left field. It looks like, oh, it landed right behind Zach. There was no way that he could get that.
Just a well-hit ball.
Yep. And both White brothers hit it behind Zach Arambula. That's a way to prevent him from making putouts. Hit it behind him, and they both have scored to lead off this inning. A little bit of danger time for the Jets. It's 10-8, and with still nobody out. So the Jets, from their perspective, need to settle this down, and the Thunder have gotten exactly the start to their inning as they want. Both White brothers scoring. You have the 5 and 6 batters now with Kyle Lewis. We've seen the power that he's capable of in this game.
Again, he's a left-handed hitter.
2 for 3 for Kyle Lewis.
Bases, please.
Getting a base check.
Play ball.
Tapping home plate before winding up the bat about 5 times and pulling it back to the shoulder. A hard slam drive over into right field. Oh, but he is out. They have him out. That is going to be, I believe, Ricky Ruzica with that out. I'm going to just double check to confirm that.
23,
2-3. Yes, it was. It was Ricky Ruzica.
That's his first putout. Unless your name is Zach Arambula or Dave Smith had a putout earlier, you haven't had a putout for the Jets. It's been the Zach Arambula show there. So a big putout on Kyle Lewis. Another really powerful drive by him. They adjusted accordingly, and that's a big first out in the inning.
That was a big play right there.
It was a wonderful out right there. You rarely see it go all the way out there into right field. Did an excellent job scooping that up.
And Miguel, the 6-hole hitter who you're hoping is maybe someone who you may be able to get out in this kind of a game, scored a run in his last at bat.
We're setting the field. Play ball.
I'm ready for Miguel to take his pitch.
Play
And
ball.
it dropped right off his bat down onto the ground.
We again thank all of you for listening on behalf of the NBBA.
Miguel has a very
Baseball
relaxed
records.
hold on that bat. He also has the bat right up against tight on his body, but he's just taking it. So that might be why. That was just a pass.
So 1-1 the count. One out in the inning.
And it's going to be a grounder just barely past the pitcher's legs. Oh, but he is out. And that is going to be Ricky, number 88 for the Jets with that put out.
So Ricky
Scooted
Castaneda.
over to center to scramble it up.
So the Rickies making back-to-back plays for the Jets.
Little Ricky.
First out, yep. The first out wasn't Little Ricky. The second out was. One Ricky made to play deep. One Ricky made to play short. And it all adds up to 2 outs in the inning.
Bases, please.
Eric Rodriguez up at bat for the Thunder.
Play ball.
And he's not happy. 1 for 4 in this game at the plate.
Oh, and that was a ferocious swing right there, but missed by about 1.5 inches. You can see the frustration on his face. He has a little bit of a gritting of the teeth.
Yeah, he's been put out a couple times. There's been a couple plays that he hasn't
Hard
made.
line drive, almost smashed into Zach. Dropped to the ground, but Zach scooped it up and he is out. Eric was Eric just punched first base in his frustration. You could definitely feel that. He was probably about 5 feet short of the base. So probably only 2.5 steps.
Well, that's a 1 for 5 day for someone who's definitely not used to doing that. And Zach Arambula, and you could hear him. Oh yeah, because when Eric Rodriguez hits it, he's really, really fast, and the only way to make a play on that, and that was a hard smash, and Arambula got in front of it and was able to make what seems like it was a really, really good play. So that was a great play. 2 runs in for the Thunder in the inning. They may look at it, though, as a little bit of a missed opportunity after they had 2 runs in by the White brothers and nobody out, unable to extend that lead. We'll go to the bottom of the inning number 5. It's 10-8 Thunder. We're getting down to it now.
Thunder's making their way out, getting set up on the field there. Spotters positioning everyone. Looks like the Jets over there huddled up a little over by their bench, having a little bit of a reconnoiter there to see what they can refocus and get back on track.
Times like these, you just want to do what you've trained your body to do, since most of these teams, especially these type teams, have been in batting cages since January, February, and out practicing in March and April. So You don't want to think about the spot too much because it's a big spot, and just try to go up there and do what you've trained your body to do all these months.
Maybe live within yourself.
Yep.
All right, Axel guys right here. Axel, Ricky, and Eric.
So Axel
3, 4, 5.
walking up to the plate. Axel has a nice little floating walk because he kind of just slowly eases up to the plate. Very casual, like he has not a care in the world.
Axel's done well at the plate today. Scored back in the second part of that big
As
rally.
Kevin was tossing a couple practice pitches up there, Axel just randomly, as he heard the beep, kind of swung at it for the everybody's laughter.
Hey, you gotta have fun with it.
Definitely.
Definitely had that didn't care attitude. But we're ready for a pitch. Oh, and he was over the ball on that one by about 2 inches. Back held way back across his shoulder. Oh, and you could hear that kind of
Yep.
just barely ticked to the bottom of that bat.
Second strike, no out, bottom 5, 10-8 Thunder. Leading the Jets.
Oh, and it's going to be just a twist off as it spins back around to the catcher. Just needing to get a little more solid in the center of that bat.
Yeah, 3 strikes, so now definitely a big spot.
Oh, a solid line drive. Kevin had to slice out of the way behind Eric, and he is going to be out, though. That is 41. That is Adam Rodenbeck with the putout.
Adam Rodenbeck is, I'm assuming they're designated fielder because he hasn't come up to the plate for this game.
Well, if you're the designated fielder, you got to make the plays when you're called upon, and he does in a huge spot there to get the first out of the bottom of the 5th inning, and that's going to bring up little Ricky, who scored a run in his.
And got one of the putouts.
He got one of the putouts in the last inning, one of the key putouts, the second one.
And Axel walking back to the bench in front of the pitcher in that same floating devil-may-care attitude. At our base check.
The loser of this game will play the winner of the Indy Edge and the Austin Blackhawks. Last we heard, this was a while ago, it was 5-2 in favor of Austin in the 3rd inning.
Oh, and it was a near miss. Oh, and just barely missed that one again.
Adam Rombeck, big play. When you consider Eric Rodriguez makes most of the plays, you need to have your unsung heroes make plays.
Oh, and that's going to be a pop, but it's going over to Eric. And he just scoops that up, laying down, slides between his arms, scoops it all the way up and out.
That's the 8th put out for him in this game.
It was a really big play by Adam Rodenbeck because that was a well-hit ball that he picked up there to put out Axel. And then Eric just doing what Eric does right there. So
this is a spot for the Jets now with 2 outs. They need to get something started here. They're down 10-8. And this is the last of the 5th inning. It's kind of go time. And this is their 5-6 hitters. Aaron, obviously a very capable, scored a run today, but
Kevin coming up to the pitch. We're getting another base check due to the cheering on the field opposite of us, making it a little difficult to hear it. Ump is going to go check on some of it. So telling everybody to relax a little bit. Kevin dropping his glove, and he's going to go over to the bench to get some water. Aaron relaxing his bat and just kind of resting. And even having a call for a new ball out from the Thunder.
$10-8, 2 outs. Jets looking to take
Kevin grabbing his water.
the lead or get back in this game.
we have Aaron Almanza up, correct?
Yes. Aaron up at bat.
They requested a new ball out.
You can hear Kevin saying thank you as they request a new ball.
This feels like an incredibly critical at bat from the perspective of the Jets. They don't score here, and the Thunder bat with the 2-run lead as they pulled the pin from that one, or they put the pin back in that one, and they're gonna, or whatever they've done, they're gonna get a new one. There we go. Pleased to join you on behalf of the NBBA. This is the 2021 Beep Baseball World Series. Matt Wallace, Rosina Foster, John Margist. 10-8, the Indy Thunder lead the San Antonio Jets in the last of the 5th inning with 2 outs for the Jets. And their 5-hole hitter.
We have the Thunder out there saying, deciding they don't like the new ball that we have, so they're calling for another.
Go back to the other one.
So obviously that this one isn't any better. We even have some Thunder sitting out on the field down on the ground as they wait for the ball situation to clear up and have a better sound.
Critical time in the game. 4-time defending champions trying to make sure that their guys have the best chance.
Aaron doing some stretches while he's at home plate, trying to stay limber. Definitely don't want to tighten up just standing out there with flexing, keeping your muscles loose and ready to go. Oh, apparently this one meets with the approval. They said this one was better.
A little quicker.
Probably get a couple practice tosses for Kevin here with the new ball. Toss 1. Aaron's gripping his bat, trying to mentally prepare himself.
Aaron Almanza trying to get something going.
Couple twists of the bat as he rotates it in his hand. Pulls his arm sleeves up. He means business. Our base check, and I think we're ready to go this time. A high pop-up, probably about 65 feet, just behind the pitcher's line. Eric is crawling for it, rolled over it. Oh, but he had him out. As he rolled over the ball, he grabbed it and held it up as he twisted back over from his stomach onto his back.
And I talked about the critical inning for the Jets defensively when Zach Arambula made all 3 putouts in the bottom of the 3rd inning. What a critical defensive play for the Thunder, starting with Adam as the defensive fielder, and then 2 putouts by Eric Rodriguez, and a 1-2-3 inning at the worst time from a San Antonio perspective. So going to the top of the 6th, it is 10-8 Thunder.
And you know Thunder's going to take advantage of this opportunity to widen that gap to try to clinch it, as you might say. Although the game still is anybody's call. We've seen the defense from the Jets, and it's very possible that they could just hold it here. We'll just have to wait and see what is going to happen here as we have Gerald come up to bat.
You have Gerald Dicus. He's come up. He's looking to score. You got the White brothers after that. So Gerald Dicus is kind of the key batter in this inning. Both White brothers have raked it today. Corey, kind of the offensive stud today, 4 for 4.
Out on the field, you have Axel Cox running to all his players, giving him a little bit of a pep talk, clapping him on the back, getting him ready to go. Now he's taking his position and backing up, and I think the field might be set. Sound off. And again, this is Gerald up at bat.
And you can definitely tell this umpire is a veteran. It's the way he conducts himself, the way he just controls the game, the crowd.
Oh, that pitch was just a little high. It was on the outside top side of the bat, and he slid under it by about 1.5 inches.
And again, this is hosted by Visit Wichita, and InVision is presenting it. Our friends from InVision.
Oh, there was a little bit of a reach for Gerald there as he swung that one. Instead of an even swing, he was almost reaching out forward just a little bit, and it kind of offset his bat, and he went over the top of that ball.
So 2 strikes, still no pass. 10-8 Thunder, top 6.
Oh, it's going to be a high pop-up, and it's going to be past the San Antonio Jets bench, foul way past the 3rd base.
3 strikes, cheering him on.
A lot of conversation there between the pitcher and Gerald. And it's going to be a line drive over between center and right field past Ricky. And it is going to be out. And I believe... Let's see, that was Ricky Ruzica.
Ricky Ruzica, his second put out in 2 innings. He made a key put out to start the 4th inning on a well hit ball.
I think it was
the 5th
David
inning.
Smith. I think it was David Smith.
Let me see who that was.
They said 7.
Oh, 7. Yep, David Smith. I see it now.
Well, either way, that's his second put out of the game. Hasn't made one since earlier in this game, 1st or 2nd inning, but that's his second, and that's a really good one by him to lead off the inning because the White brothers are coming up.
Corian up at bat. Just relaxing for the cheering on the field next to us as Corian waves them down with his hands as if to say, that's enough, now you hush.
Here we go.
Reese swinging and winding his bat,
Play ball.
one-handed, and bringing it back up behind his shoulder. Oh, and a tip off the bat to the catcher.
1 out, top 6.
Oh, hard line drive over on the left past Zach, but he's rushing back to ground, and he has it. He snagged that up.
Jets defense stepping up big right now.
Absolutely. That's the
He
11th put out.
Ran back about 12 feet, almost running alongside the ball as it rolled on the ground, and then slamming down to scoop it up.
Think about that for a second. Zach Arambula has 11 putouts in this game. You only get 18 in the game. They have 17 outs. Zach Arambula is responsible for 11 of those outs. But here is the biggest problem for the Jets offensively today, and that's Corey White.
Second field. Bases, please.
Corian and Corey both have matching red batting gloves.
Big at
Doing
bat. Big at bat right here.
Quick.
Kyle Lewis on
Oh,
deck.
sliding over that by about 3 inches. That was quite a bit off.
6-1-2 coming up for the Jets in the bottom of the 6th.
Oh, and another miss by about 2 inches.
2 strikes. This is when you need to stay. It seems like they're a little hyped up during this at bat. They need to stay within themselves. Corey White and the pitcher Jared, top of the 6th inning.
Ready for the pitch. Oh, and that one he was way underneath it by about 3 inches. Adjusting him up against the plate. Going to be a pass.
So the full count. This is it. Top of the 6th. Thunder up by 2, trying to extend their lead.
High pop up like 80, 90 feet up in the air. Back behind. Oh, just landed on Axel's foot and rolled off. He is safe. It landed on his left foot on the toe part and then bounced off over towards center line.
That's a bad break because, it seems like Axel was almost in the right spot, but if it hits you in somewhere like the foot or the leg or something like that and ricochets, it's tough to recover.
Yeah, that's a bad break in general. 3 strikes. And one just, missed swing away from just being out of the inning altogether for the Thunder. 5 for 5 for Corey White from the plate. He's just gotten it done all day. And here's Kyle Lewis, who has 2 runs of his own, so he's been a power threat all day.
Definitely having to watch it over here in right field with the double Rickies.
The big inning of the day is still the Thunder 5-run second. We haven't seen any crazy off-the-charts innings. And the Jets' biggest inning was a 3-run second. So,
Oh, and that was like an early swing, and he went right underneath it just before the ball was even to the plate.
Jets need to get this out here. If the Thunder put up another 1 or 2, it may be tough to get them all back.
To have a comeback. Oh, slamming drive way past out. And there's They are still running. He is safe. Absolutely. That was just very well placed right over the top of their heads. And again, it didn't drop. It was not a pop-up, but it just stayed airborne all the way out past the far fielders.
That's just that was the first time we've seen a line drive that was so sharply hit and so sharply bounced that, you know, most of these runs that we've seen scored have been pop-ups, but the Indy Thunder with 2 outs get one from Kyle Lewis, and he's also been an offensive star. The bottom of this Thunder order have really picked it up. 8 runs in total for them.
There was
They lead
one other
12-8.
line drive. I can't remember who hit it, but it was over in left field. That kind of was a repeat. It just didn't drop.
I heard that one hit the ground, but it must have been way out there once it did.
Yeah, it was way out there. It was probably very close to the home run line. It was kind of flew about 2 feet right above all the players' heads. This is Miguel up at bat. It's going to be bouncing along on the left
Should be a
third,
play
and that's going to Zach has that picked up just like that. Not exactly room service, but that was pretty easy for him to crawl to and grab.
So 12 putouts for him, and the inning is over, but 2 enormous 2-out runs. Really the clutch hit of the game by Corey White on a 1-3 pitch. Trying to get something going, looking like the Thunder might not score, looking like the Jets might be able to take advantage. But following that, Kyle Lewis hit a line drive that was uncatchable, that was unfieldable, and now the Jets are up against it.
They
12-8.
have 4 points to even tie. This is going to be a lot of work for the Jets.
A lot of work, but certainly not impossible. We've seen the Jets, we've seen the Jets do similar things. The biggest inning we've seen from the Jets over these past couple days, though, was that 5-run inning they had against the Edge yesterday. Different opponent here, different defense. You're going to have to get 4 runs past Eric Rodriguez in the defense. It's going to be tough to do. They've had, again, a 3-run second inning. So this is a critical at-bat here by the 6-hole hitter.
And I know we were talking about, we weren't sure whether we were going to see him for the Jets, but it looks like Lupe Perez is back in.
It sounds 27 or 23. That's what I was going to ask you. Who's 27 on that?
27
Lupe.
is Lupe.
Okay.
After his seeming injury yesterday in the first inning, running to first base. Looks like he is back in.
I believe I was told it was a lower back injury.
Was it lower? Okay.
So maybe he just aggravated a little bit, and it's not too bad, and he decided this is the time I need to.
This is when he needs to push it.
And his coaches
Standing back off the plate, doing a
coaches
few
encouraging
back
him.
swings, prep up his arms. Totally looks, he's kind of got that game day face on his face, totally focused, ready to go.
With a number of championship rings as well. I don't know exactly how many, but I know he has quite a few as well.
big leadoff hitter here
Lupe
for the
prepping.
top of the order next.
Bases, please.
Got his bat resting on his left shoulder as he turns and listens for the base. Pointing his bat at Kevin, and then he brings it up to his shoulder. High pop up into left field. It looks like it's going to go right about to where, but it dropped in front of Eric. Eric has to run forward. He's on the ball. He is safe. Yes, Eric did knock that ball fall. Oh, you can see the anger. He grabs the ball and throws it. He would not have had that out. He was about a half a second there.
Tense times, everyone on both sides trying to get the calls to go their way, but Kemp jumps in and says he knocked it out.
And that's what Kemp is, just a top flight umpire. He was just immediately on it. They called it a foul ball. There was no, wait, was it fair or foul? Let's go confer. He immediately just jumped in.
Exactly
it was
what
fair.
It was
foul because he knocked it foul. That's fair. That's a run. 12-9.
Here we go.
Exactly. Top of the order, nobody out.
We have Zach up at bat.
He's only scored 3 runs in 4 attempts.